Compassion International and Museum of the Bible present Casting Crowns, The Very Next Thing Tour.
One step away from surrender, one step away from coming home.
With special guest Danny Goki.
There's all in front of me. Tell your heart to beat again.
And Unspoken.
Start a fire in my soul.
Join Casting Crowns for The Very Next Thing Tour, performing songs from their latest album, The Very Next Thing, as well as all your favorite Casting Crowns hits.
Living, he loved you. Dying, he saved.
Casting Crowns, The Very Next Thing Tour with Danny Goki and Unspoken. It's an evening you won't want to miss.
Get your tickets now to see Casting Crowns, Danny Goki, and Unspoken at the SIU Arena on Good Friday, April 14th. Tickets are on sale now, and buy them on our website at wvyn.org.
Real Life Radio, 90.9 The Vine.
90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And hello again, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch here on a Saturday morning. It is 8:30, and it is the month of March, and my goodness, has March Madness arrived. Hey, Danny.
Boy, there's a lot of basketball going now.
Boy, oh boy, we saw a doozy last night. You know, it was kind of a flip of a coin last night as to where we were going to go. There was at least 5 games that we wanted to go see last night.
Absolutely.
And so really, all you could do was put those 5 games in a hat and draw one out and go to one of them because, you couldn't really clone yourself and go to all 5 of them, but boy, I wanted to.
Oh, yeah, it would have been great to be at several of these ball games last night because there was some great action around Southern Illinois last night.
There sure was. But we were down at Norris City last night for the 1A sectional championship, and what an atmosphere last night between Woodlawn and Gallatin County. First of all, a tip of the cap to the folks at Norris City for doing a fantastic job of hosting that sectional tournament.
Oh, yeah. They got a great facility there. That gym seats 2,400 people, and I'd say there was 2,400 people there last night.
Oh, at least. They were standing in the upper bowl up around us last night. And then also, again, you had so many faithful there from both communities, but you also had a lot of people that were kind of like us that didn't really have a dog in the hunt.
There was
just
a lot
there
of
to see some good basketball.
Good basketball people there last night.
Yeah, there sure was. And then we're going to talk, of course, to both coaches, the winning coach, Brian Gamber of Woodlawn, as well as the coach of Gallatin County, Doug Miller, who wrapped up a great season last night. We'll talk to both those coaches. Then you had that battle in 3A basketball last night between the Benton Rangers and the Carbondale Terriers. And my goodness sakes, that was played down at Carterville. Would love to have seen that one. That went down to the wire, and the Benton Rangers are now 30-2.
The first time since 1972 a Rangers team has won 30 games, and only the 5th team in school history.
Wow. Well, they have they won the championship of the River to River Conference this year, and they keep going. They're going to be the champions of the South 7, too, because they've already beaten Mount Vernon and Marion and Carbondale, and now they're going to take on Cahokia and quite possibly Centralia.
Yep. So, he's got a special group there at Benton, and they're going home.
That's right.
And I'm telling you, that place will be rocking and rolling this week.
Rich Heron Gym Tuesday night. Benton Rangers take on the Cahokia Comanches. We'll talk to Coach Ron Winemiller later on the show. And then another game we certainly wanted to see last night was down at the Big Max Morris Gym in West Frankfort, where the Mount Carmel Aces defeated Robinson last night. And we'll have Coach Tyler Buss on the show with us. And not only did they win that game last night, but they kind of exorcised one of those demons on earlier in the week when they beat T-Town, which they had not done in sectional play in boys or girls basketball.
He's got a special group. I got a neat text message. I wish I could talk to him about this text message I got on the air last night. It was very interesting. I think things got pretty intense in the fourth quarter there at Max Morris.
Yeah, we'll have a chance to do that later on the show as Tyler Buss will join us here. Now we're going to shift gears and talk some high school baseball because, hey, basketball's over for some schools and some teams, and they're concentrating on baseball. And so we'll visit with Coach Tim Holloway of the Mount Vernon Rams baseball team. And, of course, we'll also visit with Coach Keith Welch of the Hamilton County Foxes about baseball coming up. So a lot to get to this morning. Going to be a great show, so stick around. Right now, though, Danny's going to run through those scores last night from the regionals and the sectionals, and I'll get our first guest on the line.
All right. In 1A from Oakville last night, the Oakville Rockets behind Noah Fetterking. He scores 40 points. They defeat New Berlin 68-47. At North City, Woodlawn comes back in a fourth quarter run. They outscored Gallatin County in that fourth quarter 11-0 to start that quarter, 50-40. Gallatin County did not score a field goal till 1 minute left in the game. From Nokomis, Effingham St. Anthony 66, Patoka 57. So it'll be St. Anthony against Woodlawn on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. In 1A from Carbondale. And from the 2A sectional at West Frankfort, Mount Carmel 54, Robinson 49. Alton Marquette goes on a 13-0 run to start the third quarter to defeat Nashville 55-48. So it'll be Mount Carmel and Alton Marquette. Marquette's 30-3 on the season, Randy. So that game's set to tip about 7:45 at the SIU Arena on Tuesday night. Game 1 will be 6 o'clock tip between Woodlawn and St. Anthony, followed by Mount Carmel and Alton Marquette. So should be two great games down there.
Well, and again, situation is all these games being played on the same night. You want to go to the SIU Arena and watch those two super sectional games, but then, you got that Benton-Cahokia game on Tuesday night, too, at Rich Herron Gym. So you can't be two places at once.
And 3A, Centralia 47, Murfreesboro 27. I think that was the biggest surprise of last night. Not that Centralia won, but by 20.
Yeah, their defense is just so good. They make it very difficult for you to get a shot off, let alone score, and that's the problem that Murfreesboro found last night is they just couldn't score. They had nobody in double figures last night in that game.
In an exciting game at Bethalto, Breeze Central survives 44-43, and one of their best players, a young man named Stryker, was at the free throw line with a 1-and-1 with like 2 seconds to go. He misses it. Bethalto gets the rebound, and then he fouls, which was his fifth foul, and sends Bethalto to the line for 2 free throws with a chance to tie and win the game, and they missed both free throws. What a swing of emotions that was for him.
Don't you know it.
Cahokia defeats Mater Dei 52-45, and Benton 53-50 over Carbondale. So it'll be Benton and Cahokia on Tuesday night, Breeze Central and Centralia on Wednesday night, and the winners will meet down there at Rich Herron next Friday night.
Well, that's going to be an exciting time down at Benton for sure at Rich Herron Gym in Class 3A basketball. All right, well, let's bring in our first guest this morning, and this is one of those interviews that's going to be a tough one probably because you got a guy who has just worked his tail off this year and done so many great things with his ball club, and that is Coach Doug Miller of the Gallatin County Hawks. They wrapped up their season last night. I think they finished 21-9 overall as they fall short to Woodlawn last night, 50-40 at the Class 1A sectional championship at North City. Doug, how are you this morning?
Doing good. How you guys?
Great. Good to have you on the show. I know it's a disappointing loss for you last night, but boy, I'll tell you what, you and the guys just poured everything into it last night, and just things just went cold in that fourth quarter and just couldn't buy a bucket, and Woodlawn was able to come out with a win. But you got to be so proud of your guys this year.
Oh, yeah, I'm very proud of my guys. They don't quit. They work hard every day. And you give Coach Gamber a lot of credit in the Woodlawn Cardinals. They're a good basketball team. They're well coached. And congrats to them guys.
Well, when Seth Ramsey hit that incredible three-point shot from the volleyball line that rimmed around, banked in, and went in there at the end of the third quarter, and you're up 30-26, a lot of people in the stands thought, boy, that could be the momentum swinger right there, and you felt like that the Hawks were going to have a good position to do something there in that fourth quarter, but give credit to Woodlawn. They get the ball first to start the fourth quarter. They get a big three-pointer of their own to start that quarter, and all of a sudden it's a one-point game again, and the thing swung back, didn't it?
Well, they got on fire at the start of the fourth quarter, and we turned ice cold.
Yeah, Doug, your team had some great looks. The shot by Audie Goebel, that thing was in there, and it rattled around inside that rim, it seemed like, for eternity, and then it just come back out, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the quarter, didn't it?
Well, Danny, I've seen that shot in my head about 5,000 times now. It almost went in, it pops out.
Yeah, it was unbelievable to me. That ball was everything but in the net and came out, and I thought, ooh. And the next possession, Woodlawn took the lead, and then you had a lot of good looks, and it just wasn't your night last night, bud.
I think Jack Bullock said we started the quarter 1 for 9.
Yeah.
From the field. So.
Yeah, I don't think you scored a field goal until a minute left in the game in that quarter.
I think that's true, and I think we were ahead by 4 to start the fourth quarter, and the shot that Goebel went in and out, that would have quieted the run, I believe, but he didn't go in. Them guys made huge shots. McKay's a fantastic shooter.
The freshman's unbelievable, wasn't he? He hit 4 threes in that game last night. It looked like every time you was going to put a little run on him to distance yourself, he found a way to hit a 3 for him. And, hey, 2 great teams. It was a great atmosphere. Nobody has to hang their head about any of the effort there last night in that game, Doug.
I'm going to say this, too. Some people hate the 4-class system, but if you went on that crowd last night and you saw a packed-out, sold-out gym, that was great 1A basketball.
Well, it really was, and I've got for those people watching the video stream right now on AreaSports.net, I've got a shot up on the screen right now, a picture, and you can see how massive that crowd is, and you can see the Hawk Flock. And, boy, they were out in force last night, a lot of orange in the stands, and man, oh, man, what an atmosphere for high school basketball. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, it didn't. I mean, we're in the locker room, and we could hear our fans chanting Gallatin County Hawks. I mean, in the locker room, it was pretty massive. And I was at the school at 5 o'clock before our bus left, and I was getting pictures of our crowd being there like at 4:45, all in orange, getting our side thumbs up already.
Well, myself and Randy, we show up at 5:15, and the parking lot's about full. We get in there, and there's a dot of red on the south side of the gym. The north side, which was in their bright orange, there was about 2/3 of that side already filled at 5:15.
I'm very proud of our fans. Our fans have been good all year long, but postseason they come alive and everybody comes out.
Everybody loves a winner.
That's right.
Well, Doug, you've had a great season down there. You got a great group of kids, but you know what? The tank's not empty for that Gallatin County Hawks. You got a lot of good returning kids coming back, and you should have another great run next season. We
hope so. I looked out at some point last time. I'm playing a senior, a freshman, and 3 sophomores in a game that this important.
Yeah, and look at the valuable experience those young players have got this season. They had a great leader in Seth Ramsey. He'll be definitely missed, but you've also got some other kids that are quite capable of taking the reins and having that leadership role, and you got a good nucleus coming back.
And thanks to Seth for showing them how to do things right. I mean, and them guys watch Seth every move, and they imitate Seth, and that's a good thing for us.
Speaking of Seth Ramsey, is there going to be any opportunities for him to continue after high school?
SIC's offered him. He's talked to Greenville. He's talked to about 7 or 8 D3 schools. And Kentucky Wesleyan called about him last week. So he's kind of interested in that. And Coach Harris also called about him several times. So,
well, that'll be good.
Right now.
That'll be good. He'll have a great opportunity. He's a great kid, and be nice to see him have an opportunity to continue his education and do something that he loves to do.
I hope he does it.
Hey, something else I got up on the screen right now, Doug, is a picture of you and your players as well as your cheerleaders, all congratulating the players and coaches and cheerleaders from Woodlawn. Again, great sportsmanship shown by everyone associated with Gallatin County and Woodlawn last night.
I agree. It is a sportsmanlike game from both sides. Both teams played hard. Both teams played the game right.
Yeah, they sure did. It was just a wonderful atmosphere. It's one of those games where, you hated to see anybody lose, but that's why you play the game, But you're not losers, that's for sure. You lost the game last night, but what a terrific season you've had and how you've represented the school and the communities in that county so well down there at Gallatin County.
I do appreciate it.
Doug, it's always been a pleasure to visit with you all season. We look forward to another year. Hate to see this season come to a close, but best of luck to your Gallatin County Hawks and everything that comes forward for your school down there.
Well, thanks a lot. You guys do a good job.
All right, thanks. Have a great weekend now, all right? Thank you. All right, bye-bye. That's Doug Miller. That's a tough time whenever you've poured your heart and soul into something, and with a great group of kids, and you fall a little bit short. It's a tough time for him, I know, and not the easiest interview to do, but appreciate him joining us this morning.
Oh yeah, that just shows what kind of a class guy he is. You can't always be on the top end all the time. And sometimes you got to take the good with the bad, and his Hawks come a little short last night. Yeah,
Jimmy Bass has drifted into the studio. Jimmy, jump over here on the microphone a second because you were at that game last night too. And I know that you equally were impressed with the game and also just the atmosphere last night.
It's been a while since I've been to a high school basketball game in Southern Illinois, just because of the way my schedule is. With what I do.
You've been doing grade school basketball.
Exactly, but what a really good atmosphere. I have to admit, I was sitting in the Gallatin County side, family first. I've got family that works and goes to Gallatin County, and I could not believe the sea of orange that was there. And I ended up, they sold 700 tickets to the Gallatin County people. And I was listening back in the other room on the Vine app, so I could hear what Doug was saying because I didn't want to interrupt you guys while y'all were doing. And just great sportsmanship both ways. It's just Gallatin County just ran out of gas. And I was talking with my brother-in-law, who's the guidance counselor at Gallatin. He said they were just physically and emotionally drained with what's been going on the past few weeks down in Gallatin. So.
Oh, yeah, that had to take a toll on them. I said this team I thought was on a mission, Jimmy, in honor of Radar Patton. But the sportsmanship showed by both crowds last night. The student sections was into it. There wasn't nothing derogatory. Both teams cheered their players. It was just a great night of high school basketball.
It really was. And, it actually got me excited with, me doing grade school basketball out at Summersville. It's getting me excited to watch the development of the players that I'm coaching now and be able to watch them as they go up into high school and hopefully get to play in the high school arena and them get to experience that atmosphere, not just from maybe a fan standpoint, but from a player standpoint.
Right. That's quite an experience for kids like that to walk out. When those teams come out of that tunnel last night and that place was a sea of red and orange, I'm telling you, been there and experienced that a little bit myself, and that's just memories that you never lose.
And it erupted. I felt like I was at a college basketball game.
It was fantastic. Well, and Doug Miller was just on with us a moment ago, and he was talking about how they could hear the fans and the chants and everything from the locker room. And I'm sure the adrenaline that was going through the players and the coaches in both locker rooms prior to coming out on the floor last night had to just be incredible because that atmosphere, you just couldn't beat that atmosphere last night. And again, tip of the cap to the folks at Norris City for the great job they did last night.
Yes.
Great the music that they played, leading up to it, they had the fans going. They handled the three-point showdown very, very professionally, and all the announcing on the PA mic last night, everything was just stellar.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
They gave up updated scorings through other games throughout the region, tried to keep people involved.
Oh, it was awesome.
Back to the three-point, congratulations to Chad Dickey from Wayne City.
Absolutely.
He's going to advance to state in the three-point shootout.
Yeah.
And they're a young man from Waltonville as well?
I think there is one that advanced from Waltonville.
Wilson?
I didn't catch which one it was.
I just remember Waltonville.
Yeah. And while we got Jimmy here, Jimmy, tonight at Summersville is the Jefferson County All-Star game.
It is.
8th grade junior high All-Star game tonight for both boys and girls. So people that want to get out and watch that tonight, you'll be able to see some good basketball and see some future kids going into high school. For both boys
6
and
o'clock
girls.
Starts the girls game, and then roughly 7:15 the boys game will start.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, again, we heard from Doug Miller, coach of Gallatin County. Let's talk to the winning coach right now, and that, of course, Brian Gamber of the Woodlawn Cardinals joins us. Brian, how are you this morning?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys.
Well, I bet you're doing great. What a tremendous basketball game that was last night. I mean, we're all still out of breath from it. I can only imagine how you must feel this morning.
Now, hey, I want to go over the highlight of his game last night.
Okay, what's that?
I never have really seen a coach do this in a basketball game, but his freshman, McKay, hit a big three from over on the side of the floor we're sitting at.
Yeah.
And when that ball went in, Brian Gamber's face, he just got the biggest smile on his. He thought, this is the real
I saw
deal
that.
right here.
I thought he was going to do it. I thought Brian was going to do a backward somersault on that one. You know? How about it, Brian? How about it?
Yeah, he's exactly right. That was a big shot. And what's funny is, myself and our coaching staff. I mean, we joke all the time about Blake McKay. He doesn't know he's a freshman playing in the second final, and so we break the press and make one pass to break the press. And he's just, I'm open. Might as well fire it up. So
yeah.
Goes in. I couldn't help but laugh and smile because I love it. I mean, I eat that up because that's what it's about. And I've told him day one, I want him to be aggressive, and the fact that he's willing to take that shot, I just love it. I mean, that's what it's about.
Well, here you are in a sectional championship game, and your leading scorer is a freshman. He scores
freshman and a sophomore.
Yeah, he scores 16. He hits 4
I know
threes.
why he's just smiling.
Future.
Yeah. He was happy about last night's game, but he's sitting here thinking, I'm going to be all right for about another 4 years.
He's definitely got the ability to shoot the basketball. I mean, he's a competitive kid, and he likes playing. And, that's kind of the last couple of weeks kind of figured out, Blake Wallerman only scores 3 points last night. But think about all the things that he does. I mean, the fact that he's driving in, collapsing the defense to kick out to those guys, that's kind of why we went on this run. He's kind of figured out his times to look for his offense and the times to kick it to our open shooters. We asked the kids to really step up and make some big shots, and that continued last night. And I was glad that you guys started off talking about how good North City did an outstanding job of running that sectional.
They did.
And, our locker room last night before we ran out, it was shaking because the building was so loud, and our kids were fired up. And that's what it's about that time of year. I mean, that was a throwback game with tons of people, loud. It was something right out of Hoosiers. The feeling that and that's what makes it fun, and it's a credit. Gallatin County, I mean, just a really good game last night. I mean, their kids played their guts out. They competed hard. The Ramsey kids, a handful. They're just a very, very good basketball team, very well coached by Doug Miller. And it just was a really good game. It really was.
Yeah, well, you were talking about Woolerman, the fact that he didn't really score the points last night, but he still did some special things to keep your team in it. And one of the things that I looked at was in the first half, he made a no-look alley-oop pass to Isaac in the lane for a bucket, and my goodness sakes, that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, that's what he does. I mean, we've talked to him about that. He's a playmaker, and that's what we need him to be. Can he score? Absolutely. But we really feel like we're at our best whenever he's driving, he's kicking, he's making plays, he's getting other guys open shots. And, so many defense, he's the focus. He's the focal point, and he should be. That's what scout reports are going to say. And so whenever he is making plays and getting the defense to help or over-help, that's when he can kick and get other guys open shots or open looks, and he's really good about that. And I will say the other thing for him is, he's guarding Ramsey last night, and Ramsey is a handful. And, yes, he scored 26, but I really felt like he worked his tail off to score 26.
Yeah.
I thought Blake and Trey Isaac did an outstanding job forcing everything. Make things difficult. He's going to score, but you make it tough. Maybe you wear him out. And I thought in the fourth quarter he looked like he was a little bit gassed. He was trying to carry the load for him, and that's a lot. And he was guarding at a really high level. And I thought down the stretch, he missed some shots that maybe he makes otherwise, but I thought our kids were in good spots and made everything difficult for him.
Yeah, they sure did. I've got a photo up on the screen right now for those people who are watching the video stream version here on AreaSports.net, Brian, and it's a photo of Gallatin County taking a shot from the perimeter, and you can see 3 red shirts, 3 Woodlawn Cardinals in box-out position, and it's a thing of beauty. I mean, this is textbook. This is how you coach it. And but that's what we saw all night last night is your Cardinal team doing a good job of keeping the Hawks from having second chance opportunities.
Yeah. Outstanding job by our kids, committing to block it out. And, and that was a key Wednesday night against Meridian. I think we had 12 defensive rebounds in the fourth quarter alone last night. That's how you win games. You limit second chances. And, it's easy to say, you got to block out. That's how you got to go rebound. But there's more that goes into it. Being in the correct position defensively helps and allows you to actually then go block out. And our kids did a nice job of staying attached, getting into their guy, holding them off, and then going and getting it. I mean, all of them, not just our big, Trey Isaac, man, he's just a monster on the glass. And then Jordan Hoppe, Zach Ashby, Jackson Bennett. I mean, they've all committed to doing the little things, and blocking out is one of those things that it's not pretty. It's not going to show up in the newspaper. You're not going to get headlines from it. That's how you win basketball games, and our kids were able to do that last night.
Your team, Brian, I thought a big turning point in the game. Ramsey hit the three from the volleyball line with 1 second to go to end the third quarter, put them up 30-26, and I thought that was going to be a big momentum swing for Gallatin County. You get the basketball, you come down, and McKay hits a big three to bring you to within one. You go down, Goebel misses, his shot goes in and out. It comes out, you get the rebound, you come down and score and get the lead. And from then on, it seemed like your Cardinals team just kept rolling, kept the pressure up, and Gallatin County had some contested shots that didn't go, and you were able to convert on your end in a 11-0 run to start that fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, that 11-0 run, obviously, I mean, that's a huge key. The one thing we did talk about, the banked-in three from the volleyball line, that can be a game changer. That can really swing the momentum in their favor. But I thought a big play was right before that, really good defensive play by Jackson Bennett. Gets the jump ball, which, yes, they get to keep it. They bank in a three. That's a big play. But then all of a sudden we get the ball to start the fourth quarter. So we answer with a three. So basically we wipe out that banked-in three, and our kids are right back to within one, and we're feeling good about ourselves. And then, then we kick in 8 straight to kind of take the lead there, and obviously that's huge. And that's what we've done. When you play good teams, especially in atmospheres like last night, they are going to make a run. They're going to make a tough shot. How do you respond? And early in the year, we just kind of struggled getting over the hump. Our last 2 weeks, we have faced some adversity, and we've been able to respond. We responded against Meridian. We responded against Weber. We responded last night with a big 11-0 run. And that's just a credit to our kids. Understanding it's a long game. You just keep playing. You keep doing the things that have got you to that point, staying under control, executing offensively. And then, when you get a good look, you need to knock it down come this time of year. Obviously you play good teams. You're not going to get wide open shots or layups. So when you do get a little bit of an opening, you got to make them count. And fortunately for us, we've made some big ones, and we've made them count at the right time.
We'll talk a little bit now. This journey continues. You're going to go to the SIU Arena on Tuesday night. You're going to take on Effingham St. Anthony. That game's going to tip around 6 o'clock. Talk about how things are going to lead up to that game now for your Woodlawn Cardinals.
Yeah, well, today is a lot about, gathering as much information as we can. We've got films coming in from a lot of different places. And then just start putting stuff together today. And then, tomorrow our kids will come in and we'll shoot, we'll do some live things, and we'll start going through St. Anthony's stuff. And then, getting after it Monday to get us ready to roll for Tuesday. So, we understand it's nothing different. St. Anthony, they are extremely good. The Gibson kid, he had 29 in the semi. He had 33 last night against Patoka. So obviously we'll have our hands full with them. But they're very balanced. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. They've got good size and length. They're well coached. Coach Rinker does a really good job with his kids. But that's what you expect. You're playing in a super sectional. You're going to have to play at an extremely high level and do a lot of things correct, if you want to keep advancing. And we just told our kids, don't be satisfied. Why not us? Why not keep this thing going? And we're going to put everything we got into Tuesday night and give St. Anthony our best shot.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Bulldogs, I think, come in at 26-5. But the thing that's interesting about St. Anthony is they play a pretty tough schedule up there too. I mean, they've played T-Town, they've played Effingham High this year, so they've played some bigger schools, and so they're going to be ready for the big spotlight, the big moment as well.
Absolutely, they have challenged themselves very well. Their conference is good. They've had to play Altamont 3 times. Like you said, Effingham and T-Town, those are 2 of their 5 losses. Well, those are 2 really good losses. I mean, those 2 teams are as good as any teams around, and they're going to be prepared. I mean, they're going to be ready for the moment, and like I said, we understand just what kind of challenge is in front of us and how well we're going to have to play. But, our kids are playing well right now. They're playing confidently. They're playing aggressive. And like I said, I mean, we're going to go at it. I mean, we're going to give them everything we have and try to give them our best game. And, down at SIU Arena, you just never know. I mean, that's kind of a tough place to play for kids. It's a difficult shooting background. So hopefully we'll make it tough on them. And, hopefully our kids just do the same things, being aggressive. And we're really going to have to guard. I mean, that's been our key the whole postseason is we've really limited teams. And that's going to have to continue, if we want to get to where we want to finish.
Well, Brian, we appreciate you joining us here this morning. Best of luck to you and your team, and keep the run going, and good luck down at SIU. We'll be down there to take you in that game on Tuesday night.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much for having me on.
Real quick question, Brian. Yeah. Ticket information. There may be some fans want to know about ticket information for Woodlawn. What's the story on that?
So we got plenty of tickets at Woodlawn High School, and they will open that up Monday. I'm not really sure right now. Sometimes they will open up in the mornings, but a lot of times they wait until about 3 o'clock. And we already have sold some tickets to families and Booster Club members. But Monday we will have plenty of tickets available. So if anybody wants to come on out to Woodlawn High School, or you can call the high school and find out, what times would be good for you to stop by and get some tickets.
All right. Well, enjoy the weekend. We'll let you get back to watching film, okay?
All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you now. Bye-bye. That's Brian Gamber, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. The thing that we didn't talk to him about, which, again, blows me away, is the fact that, okay, here's a team that finished 4th in the conference, okay? They finished 4th in the conference.
It's all about peaking at the right time.
That's right. You ramp up and you build towards the end of the season, and boy, that has never been truer than this season with the Woodlawn Cardinals. They're 18-14, but they were 6-3 in the conference.
Randy, I attribute part of that early on. They got a new head coach coming off of even though Brian's not come in and changed a lot of things, he's still not Shane Witzel. He does Brian Gamber's thing, Brian Gamber's way. And some of these kids, especially like a Blake Woolerman, he's played for Shane Witzel for 3 years, and now he's got a new coach, but I'm going to have to lead this team because I'm one of the lone seniors on this group.
Right.
And, I think it was just an adjustment period for this Woodlawn team, and now things have really meshed here. And if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it.
They're all on the same page. That's exactly right. All on the same page. Well, when we come back,
before you go to break, we got to remember we got one of your sponsors here that wants to give.
Yeah, absolutely.
McLeansboro Auto Parts and Ag and Wibbles Repair is having their grand opening of their new location there in McLeansboro today from 8 to 2. Come in and register. They're going to give away a Kohler generator.
All right.
And, that could be a very important thing with the storm season coming up.
Absolutely.
And from 11 to 2, they're going to have Deep South Barbecue for lunch. So go out and join them. They're at their new location on Route 142 next to the American Legion there in McLeansboro.
Right there on the main drag, but you're on the main highway, not far from the high school in McLeansboro, the folks at Wibbles. And, they've got a little bit of everything there. So
everything they have is on sale today, and they want you to come out and join it. They're going to have a lot of nice giveaways. So make sure you stop in there at Wibbles Repair, Auto Parts, and Ag at Wibbles Repair.
And get some lunch while you're there today as well. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk to another very happy coach. That is Coach Ronnie Winemiller of the Benton Rangers. We'll talk to him coming up next as the Sports Couch continues. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your station for the Casting Crowns concert on Good Friday, April 14th at the SIU Arena in Carbondale. This is WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, McLeansboro, and Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
Real Life Radio welcomes Mount Vernon's newest family restaurant, The Grill, as an underwriting sponsor. The Grill features a full menu of home-cooked food, delicious homemade desserts, and breakfast served all day. The Grill is located at 424th South 44th Street near the interstate in Mount Vernon, and their phone number is 246-1700. Their hours are 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. The Grill in Mount Vernon, where taste makes the difference.
People's National Bank has the best of both worlds. Big bank products offered from your local family-owned community bank. Products like free checking, online banking, personal and business mobile banking, and mobile deposit. People's National Bank has the products and services to meet your personal and business financial needs in today's world. Stop by any People's National Bank branch and ask about any one of these great products. People's National Bank, serving Southern Illinois since 1909. Member FDIC, wireless and service fees may apply.
Well, welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. What a game last night for the Benton Rangers. Holy cow, they improved to 30-2 on the season, as the Rangers are now 30-2 on the season and will move back home. That's right, they're going home to Rich Herron Gym, where they'll take on the Cahokia Comanches in the sectional tournament. They won the regional last night over Carbondale.
You know, Randy, that was another one of those places we wanted to be last night, and just not enough to go around. But I'm not sure we could have got a seat. I think it was pretty well a full house down there last night, too. And what an atmosphere that had to be for the Benton Rangers. Only the fifth team in school history to have a 30-win season.
Mm-hmm. They beat the Carbondale Terriers last night 53-50, and head coach Ron Winemiller joins us right now. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, doing fine, but I know you've just got to be so excited, and you probably didn't sleep a whole lot last night with that adrenaline running after that game. You got to be so proud of your guys.
Oh, yeah, and it's just a typical effort by them. They got down early and never kind of wavered, and they never kind of blinked. They just kept playing and were able to come back and tie it up at halftime, and then kind of back and forth there in the third quarter, and they got up 5, and then Wills hit 2 threes, and we're up 1, and then we got up 6, and Bean went and made a couple plays, and the next thing you know, they're down 1, and so they banked in 2 threes, and when that happens, you're like, maybe this isn't our night, but we just kept fighting and didn't miss a free throw in the fourth quarter, and just a lot of fun last night.
Well, I've seen Carbondale play 3 times this year. I know how athletic they are, and boy, Acree and Bean, they are definitely a load. And you got down 21-11 early, as you said, down 10. But then right after that, you go on an 11-2 run of your own, and the game completely turns around. And like you say, you're tied at halftime. You had to be feeling pretty good at intermission, tied 25-25, huh?
Yeah, we were. I mean, that's what we told our guys. We said, we were 2 of 9 from the arc in the first half, and we're tied with them. And said, we just make a few more shots and kind of do what we do and loosen up the defense a little bit. And I thought the key to the second half was we got a couple baskets in the post from Parker early, and that kind of loosened up their perimeter defense a little bit on Derek and Austin.
Well, Ron, big games always come down to free throw shooting, and your Benton Rangers were 16 out of 17 last night. And if you don't shoot that kind of thing, you may not go out of there with a win last night.
No, we made and we weren't in the double bonus. That's one of the things you always kind of, as a coach, kind of look and see when we get the double bonus. And so when they started fouling us late in the game, we were in the bonus. As a matter of fact, the first foul put us in the bonus. So you never know. You think of that double bonus, we'll at least split it. But, Will's hit some big free throws, and so did Timmy. And I thought Parker's were really big because they were the first two. And, we played 7 guys last night, and they all contributed to the win.
Well, your Benton Rangers are just keep kind of clicking along here. You're going to get to go back to Rich Herring Gym now, and you're going to take on a Cahokia team. Talk a little bit about this challenge facing you.
Well, we're just kind of starting to gather some information on them last night and get some tape, and we'll really spend a lot of time this morning and this afternoon and gather a little bit of a game plan going forward. But I think the big thing is I know they got 6'6" Bell kid who's kind of an in-out slasher kind of guy. He'll present some problems for us. Then they got another really good guard who averages about 12 a game. So, we just got to kind of figure out where we can help and what we can give up to try to take away something that they like to do. And, you give them something when you do that, but hopefully the trade-off's worth it for us.
Well, talking about trade-offs, I heard a comment you made yesterday. You said that if you could hold the Big Two from Carbondale to under 50, you thought you had a chance to win the game. You held them to 43. It's pretty amazing 2 guys score 43 out of the 50 points, but you was able to do what you wanted to do, and your Rangers got that victory last night.
Yeah, and I think that, we did a really good job the last possession. I mean, they got a pretty good look. It wasn't I wouldn't say it was wide open, but they got a pretty good look. But we just told our guys, we said, hey, don't let their 2 guys that we know can beat us. And as a result, we were able to pull down the rebound and win the game.
Well, we were kind of joking here before we came on the air with you there, Ron, that you won the River Conference this year, and the way things are looking, you're going to win the South 7 Conference as well because you've already beaten 3 teams from the conference in Marion and Mount Vernon and Carbondale, and now you're going to face Cahokia, and you may very well face Centralia before it's all said and done. So here you are going through 2 conferences to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, we told our guys when the pairings came out, and this is something that we talked about with them. We said, we're going to play Marion, then we're more than likely going to play Carbondale, then there's a really good chance we're going to play Cahokia, and then if we can keep winning, don't be surprised if Centralia's not waiting there for us in the sectional finals. And one of them said, well, let's just call Althoff and see if we can't meet them in Nashville on Sunday if we beat Centralia. So it's something that we've been, that our guys are aware of, and I think they, I made this comment last night on the post game, and I truly believe this. I think if we were to get our guys together today and say, all right, fellas, Friday night we're going to play the Illini, and Saturday we're going to play the Bulls, I think they would look around and say, well, we could probably get a split. They just have a lot of, and the way the Illini and Bulls play sometimes, I may agree with them, but they just always believe that they're going to win. And that's not a cocky, arrogant kind of thing. They just know they have such belief in each other. And
confidence.
Yeah.
Well, they've been winners their whole lives, Ron.
Yeah, absolutely. And they all, they're coming to the bench at the end of the first quarter, and we're down 9. Mm-hmm. And Timmy looks and he goes, we got a lot of game left because we've got to make some shots and we're fine. And late in the game, Derek, he's clapping and he's like, hey, we'll make free throws with champions. They do as much coaching among themselves as any group I've ever had.
Well, to be as successful as they've been, they've got to have each other's backs, and they pick each other up. You've got 2 young men in this group with Oxfords and Wheels. It's both over 1,000 points in their careers. You got a special group of kids, Ron, and like you said, it's not about me. It's about the team, and that's why the Benton Rangers are successful. Yeah,
it is, and it's very cliche, Danny, to say that, but I've had more people come up and say, this reminds me of a McLeansboro team, the way they pass the ball and the way they guard. And, and to me, that's a huge compliment when you see somebody that has grew up watching that kind of basketball. That's a very high compliment to me. And, I've had guys, Todd Tripp was there last night, and Todd and I are real good buddies. He said, hey, there's about 20 people from Goreville here. They just love to watch Benton play. He said they love watching your kids. And to me, you're always going to have people in your community that get behind you when you have a good year, but now when you got people from other places coming to watch you because they like watching your kids play, to me that says a lot about them.
Oh, yeah. Your team's been a great team to watch and be around. They're just a great group of kids. They don't do things that you shouldn't do in a basketball game. They just go about business, and they take care of business. And that's a compliment to you and your coaching staff, Ron. When you're 30-2, sometimes it's pretty hard not to get full of yourself. And your Benton Rangers have never showed that throughout this season. They just strap on their boots and they go to work. And I think that's because of the guys leading the ship, you and Wade Thomas and some of your other coaches. That's how you guys are. You put your boots on, you go to work, you do your job, you take care of business, and you set a good example for those young men, and hats off to you guys.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you, Danny, and I think that, here's what, and Derek can speak to this more than any of them because he played it up as a freshman. I think Derek would tell you this. His freshman year when we finished 15-17, my demeanor has not changed very much from that team to this team. I think he would be the first one to tell you that we just come to work and we do what we need to do and we go home, and I've tried to always be that way. I know one time I had a guy say, don't be a schizophrenic head coach. Don't be crazy wild after you get beat and be their best friend after you win. He said, just be you and whoever you're going to be, but be that guy every day, win or lose. And I've always tried to do that, and I think that's one reason why we've had some consistency this year because, number one, we have good players, but number two, we've always kind of kept things pretty consistent.
Well, that's excuse me, that's always a big thing. You have to have consistency. They have to know what to expect. You have to know what to expect. And when both groups realize that, and not only those two groups, but you got a great group of parents. Every good coach will tell you behind every great team there's a better group of parents, and you've got a great group of parents, and that's a big helping factor, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a huge part of it, and a lot of this, even though we're having the kind of year we're having, it would be very easy for some of these parents to get jealous of some of the success of the individual kids, and that hasn't happened. And they cheer for each other just like their kids do, and as a result, it makes things pretty easy on me.
Well, everybody has to row the ship in the same direction, and when that happens, a lot of good things happen.
Oh, absolutely. We're just we'll get ready to play the Comanches on Tuesday and kind of see what we can do. I mean, I haven't really watched them much yet, so we'll see, just prepare and see where we're at on Tuesday night.
You don't think there'll be anybody there at the gym on Tuesday night, do you?
Well, my wife said she got to the gym at 6:15 last night, and she goes, there was nowhere to sit. I said, well, get there earlier. So.
I love it. I love it. Well, those Cahokia Comanches are going to be a lot like the team you beat last night. They're very, very similar to the Carbondale Terriers. And as you've faced most of the season, you're going to come in smaller than they are, but that's nothing new. You guys have faced taller teams all year long. You're used to that. But the way I look at it, Ron, is that they've got to be worried about stopping you. A lot of people say, well, how's Benton going to stop Cahokia? Well, my question is, how's Cahokia going to stop Benton? Because that's the thing they got to be concerned with is how are they going to defend your Rangers?
It's funny you say that because we, when the parents came out for the regional, we were going to play Marion, and I had about 50 people say, man, you got to play Marion, you got to play Marion. And finally, I said, you know what, Marion's got to play us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 28-2 for a reason, and I know that these South 7 schools probably play a little better schedule than what we do in the river. But winning's worth something, and getting to play at home, I think, is a big advantage. They got a long bus ride. We have no bus ride, so I think we got some things going in our advantage. We just got to make some shots. I mean, it's not like we got a 7-footer to pitch it in there, too, that can go make plays. We got to make some shots and be sound defensively and rebound. And if we do that, I think we got a good chance to win. If we don't, we won't. It's as simple as that. And that's kind of been our formula for most of the season, and we got to continue to do that here as long as we're able to continue to play.
Well, Ron, congratulations to your Benton Rangers. I know you'd like to celebrate and enjoy it a little more than you've been able to, but it's all about surviving to play another day now. And best of luck down there on Tuesday night. And let's get them Rangers to that Friday night game. I'd like to come see you next Friday night.
All right, we'll try. Thanks, guys.
All right, Ron, thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Ron Winemiller, coach of the Benton Rangers, 30-2. They'll take on the Cahokia Comanches. That will be that'll be a great game on Tuesday night. I'll tell you one thing, the Benton Rangers will have a lot more fans there than Cahokia will. And that'll be a big factor, particularly playing at home.
That's right. I'm telling you, Rich Herron will be rocking and rolling, and being able to host a sectional game like that is going to – well, and that's where they shoot, and that's where they practice every day.
Exactly right. Danny, if you want to run through the scores again for those people who might have joined us late and recap things in the regionals and sectionals last night, I'll get our next guest on the phone.
All right. From the Oakville sectional, Oakville advances 68-47 over New Berlin. At North City, it was Woodlawn 50, Gallatin County 40. At Nokomis, it was Effingham St. Anthony 66, Patoka 57. So it'll be Woodlawn and Effingham St. Anthony at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night from the SIU Arena. In the 2A sectionals, Mount Carmel defeats Robinson 54-49. Alton Marquette defeats Nashville at Nashville 55-48. Marquette's 30-3 on the season. They will take on Tyler Buss's Mount Carmel Golden Aces at the SIU Arena at about a 7:30, 7:45 tip time on Tuesday night. In 3A at Centralia, it was Centralia 47, Murfreesboro 27. At Bethalto, it was Breeze Central 44, Bethalto 43. At Mater Dei, it was Cahokia 52, Mater Dei 45. And at Carterville, it was Benton 53, Carbondale 50. So it will be Benton and Cahokia at Rich Herron on Tuesday night. And on Wednesday night, it'll be Centralia and Breeze Central, and the winners will advance to a Friday night contest.
All right, and still to come in the show, we will be visiting with Coach Tyler Buss of the Mount Carmel Aces in just a little bit. We'll talk about their win last night over Robinson and the win earlier in the week over T-Town, and, of course, kind of preview his matchup against Alton Marquette that'll be coming up at the Super Sectional on Tuesday night. But we want to shift gears a little bit right now and talk some high school baseball. And joining us on the phone is the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams baseball program. That's Tim Holloway. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Randy.
Good to have you on the Sports Couch this morning. Appreciate you joining us. And it's that time of year again, and you guys have been busy working out and getting ready for baseball season. Tell us how it's going so far.
Well, it's been great so far because we've been outside every day, so that's always a plus. And we've got some good weather today. Looking forward to getting out there, and it looks like next week is showing some good weather as well. So it definitely helps to get outside. You know, we're fortunate to have a good indoor facility, but nothing beats being on the field this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, you've got a great facility to play in there with Brennan Klein Field, your home field. It's one of the best in Southern Illinois. And tell us how the schedule rolls out. I don't have it in front of me, so when do you start the season and where?
Well, I'll try to go off the top of my head. I'm not in front of it right now, but we start a week from Tuesday. We play Salem at home. And then we've always played Peenyville that next day. And then we go to, we're involved in the Prep Baseball Report Metro East Kickoff Classic, which, they're trying to make it a big deal. They've got teams from Missouri, Illinois, Joliet Catholic's coming down, some real good teams from Missouri. Mm-hmm. We're going to play Civic. We're going to play Civic, who's always a good team over there, and we're going to play them at Edwardsville High School on that Thursday. So we start the season a week from Tuesday, and we'll play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that first week. And then we roll into Triad on that Monday, Waterloo on Tuesday, and Mattoon for 2 on Saturday. So that first 2 weeks, we're going to find out real quick where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about some of the key guys you got coming back from your team last year.
Well, as many people, that follow us know, we've lost 10 seniors, so it's basically a whole new team. If you look at us on paper, it may not look too promising. We've got one position starter back. That's Jake Wiley, our catcher, and we lost about 70% of our pitching. So a lot of opportunities for guys. We're going to focus on what we have, and we do have the Brockhouse kid. Walker Brockhouse is back on the mound. He threw some innings last year. I feel like he's got a chance to be much improved. And Quentin Kuava will also be back, who threw quite a few innings for us. So those guys will be 1-2 in some regard, either way on the mound, 1A, 1B, I guess you could say. And then the rest of the guys, every position's up for grabs. So first base, going around the infield, first base, Chris Hufford. Quentin Cuava could also play there at second base. Quentin is capable of playing second. Garrett Procyse. And then we have a sophomore that's going to push some guys named Billy Beckham. Shortstop, Cole Morgan and Chandler Meyer are fighting it out at shortstop, and one of those could potentially play second as well. At third base, Gage Burrows, who did not play last year but has had a real good offseason, real good preseason here, is competing with Chase Timmons, a junior, at third base. And then our outfielders, we've got plenty of guys out there competing for spots with Brandon Rutherford. Walker Brockhouse can play out there. Colin Smith, Joe Schmidt. I don't want to miss guys, but a lot of opportunities for guys. Parker Wild is a sophomore that will push some guys. So, along with our position guys, we've got 7 or 8 guys we expect to see time on the mound.
Okay, and today you're involved in something else in just a little bit, and that's the JCSA program. It's sign-up day, I believe, for JCSA. That's the Jefferson County Sports Authority. That's the youth baseball programs, and talk about that and how important that is as ultimately one of your feeder programs.
Oh, it's huge. We're signing up today at the Roland Lewis building from 10 to 1. I've always said our best players, our best teams have come out of our JCSA program, and they grow up playing together. I believe in the program. We're thankful to have some great volunteers here, and I really believe strongly just staying around here playing and learning the fundamentals of the game is going to benefit a kid better than playing all over the Midwest at 10U, 11U, 12U, and spending summer in the backseat of a car or a hotel driving around. These kids need to play multiple sports, and it's nice to be a part of this, and really thankful for all of our parents and volunteers.
Okay, and then also I think the baseball team is also selling tickets to an upcoming Cardinal baseball game at Busch Stadium. You want to tell us about that?
Sure. We've got more details on the way, but we're going to play at Busch Stadium again this year. We have to sell 1,000 tickets to make that happen. It's something we've done for several years, even going back to the 90s. When I was a player for Coach Bernard, we played at the old Busch, but it's obviously a great experience for the kids. It's something they look forward to, and that day that we have to sell tickets for is, I believe, in late June. It's a Saturday evening against the Pirates, 6:15 game. So the tickets will be over half price off the face value. I mean, they're going to be cheap tickets, and then we will get to play at Busch Stadium on another day. Right now it looks like Eureka, Missouri is who we're going to play, but that can be changed, they said. So it looks like we're going to play on a Sunday afternoon in May, so we're real excited about that, and we always appreciate the community helping us out, giving our kids a chance to play there.
Absolutely, and as we more details come out about that, we'll certainly share that with everybody here on the air, but we look forward to trying to get people to buy tickets and get out for that. Again, it's always a great opportunity to see a Cardinal game at a discount, and then also ultimately have a chance to see your Mount Vernon Rams baseball team play on the Busch Stadium field there.
Yes, and the key is we're not playing the same day as the Cardinals. Sometimes that works out, some days it doesn't, or some years it does not, but regardless, it's a pretty neat deal for them. It's something they won't forget, and it's something we need help with, and we appreciate everyone that chips in on that.
Okay, and then one last thing here about the JCSA sign-up day again today. If somebody's listening right now and they're like, oh, man, I forgot about that, or I didn't realize that, and they've got a son that wants to try to play baseball, what can they do and what should they do today as far as the sign-up for JCSA program in Mount Vernon?
Okay, today they need to come by the Roland Lewis building at 10 to 1, sometime between 10 and 1, and just sign up. The program also offers travel baseball, and if they would like to sign up to try out, those tryouts are actually going to be tomorrow. The league tryouts will not be until April, so we've got a league, and then we also have our travel teams per age group for those that want to play a little more. The travel's basically 30 minutes max to some. At least my groups have been in that 30-minute area. We play Salem, Benton. We'll go maybe an hour away max. So it's not like, they're having to travel all over the place and stay in hotels. So it's a real good deal for them financially, and also just the camaraderie they get growing up with their buddies playing ball.
Okay, sounds great. Well, Tim, thanks so much for joining us this morning on the Sports Couch, and we look forward to visiting with you some more in the future and talk some Rams baseball, okay?
Okay, great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Tim Holloway, head baseball coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, and he graduated a lot of guys last year, Danny. Lost 10 players off that team from last year, so we're going to have a lot of new faces and new opportunities for guys to make starting positions this year on the Rams baseball team. But one thing about Tim, he does a great job year in and year out, and he will have them ready to play.
They'll just reload.
I tell you what, it's a great baseball program at Mount Vernon High School. That is for sure. Well, we're going to talk some more basketball here in just a second, as we're going to be visiting with Coach Tyler Buss of the Mount Carmel Aces. They were winners last night over Robinson to win the Class 2A sectional game down at West Frankfort. They won that 55-49. We'll talk to Coach Buss coming up next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Real Life Radio is grateful for the underwriting support of Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon. Located at 328 Main Street in Mount Vernon, Taylor Flooring specializes in the sales, service, and installation of top brands such as Mohawk, Southwind, and LW Mountain. 100% locally owned and operated by Mark and Sherry Taylor, Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon has your flooring needs covered. Their phone number is 315-6004.
Real Life Radio is thankful for the financial partnership we have with Greenwald & Sons Construction in Wayne City and in Mount Vernon. They specialize in residential and commercial construction and remodeling. They have a long list of satisfied customers spanning over 38 years. Whether it's a church addition, business expansion, or new home construction, Greenwald & Sons Construction of Wayne City and Mount Vernon are experts that you can depend on. Their phone number is 895-2044, and we thank them for their support of local Christian radio. Welcome back to the Sports Couch, live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Boy, there were so many great basketball games last night as March Madness is truly among us. And so many games we wanted to be at last night, but we couldn't be at all of them. And another great game last night took place down at Max Morris Gym in West Frankfort. Mount Carmel Aces defeated the Robinson Maroons 55-49 to advance on to the 2A Super Sectional. And a date against Alton Marquette Tuesday night. And joining us on the phone right now is the head coach of the Aces, and that's Tyler Buss. Good morning, Tyler.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And congratulations on the win last night. It was a wild one. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was. Don't ask too many details because it's all kind of a blur to me right now the way it went down. But no, it was a good win for us. It seemed like we'd get a lead, and then Robinson would scratch call, get its way back, and we kind of kept them a little bit at arm's length for the majority of the night. But give our kids credit. It got down. We had some foul trouble issues late, but it seemed like when it came to the fourth quarter, we got enough stops and made enough plays there in that fourth quarter to get the win.
Yeah, we were down at North City watching that game last night, and I was getting updates and messages from what was happening in your game. And at the 5:49 mark of the fourth quarter, I got a message said, you should see Tyler Buss. And I won't go into what the rest of the message said. It said something about the expression on your face, what it looked like you wanted to do. One of your big guys had just picked up his fourth foul, and both of them had 4 fouls at that time. And the next thing the message said was, both cheering sections are very intense with about 5 exclamation points behind it.
Yeah, I forget that sometimes people start watching me and not the game when I get all hoot and holler. So I got to tone that down a little bit. There was definitely some tense moments there. But we we enjoyed it, and heck, it was just a tremendous atmosphere for high school basketball last night. You know, something I was glad our kids got to be a part of, and you know, we had a great following. Robinson had a great following, and you know, like I said, it was just a neat atmosphere for high school hoops.
Well, you know, it's been an interesting week for your Mount Carmel Aces. On Tuesday night on the way down to there, you had some bus issues and were late arrivals at the game, and then you had to face a T-Town squad. Talk a little bit about that adventure.
Well, you talk about an interesting week. You're right. You know, we go down Tuesday to scout the first semifinal game, and you know, we're basically 10 or 15 minutes ahead of the tornadoes that were coming through, so we're hustling back home. And you know, I told everybody we heard 3 different towns tornado sirens on the way home. So you know, that should have been a hint that, you know, maybe this was going to be a crazy week. And then Wednesday we get on the bus, and you know, we splurged for a nice big charter bus, and we're watching a movie. And, you know, we're going more than 30 minutes down the interstate, and all of a sudden we see black smoke coming out of the back of the bus. So, you know, we pull off to an exit and, you know, wait for an hour for another bus. So, you know, we had to push the game back. And, you know, thankfully, you know, last night, other than, you know, the sectional championship, it was pretty much a business as usual affair last night.
Wow. Well, that T-Town game was incredible, too. And first of all, let's say talk about the fact that, you know, you kind of exorcised some demons or something, I guess, by finally beating T-Town at a sectional tournament, because that's something that your sister Tyra was never able to do in her high school career. She was 0 for 4, and so that was a big deal for Mount Carmel getting past T-Town on Tuesday night, 66-64, wasn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, the Bus family has had too many seasons ended by T-Town, that's for sure. So, well, we were happy to, you know, again, you know, what a great program they have. You know, they're pretty much the cream of the crop for basketball in this area. So for our guys to be able to knock them off, you know, I think that, you know, it definitely, especially going forward, kind of a big, you know, a confidence boost, and should give us some pretty good momentum going forward.
Well, from what I understand, that game had 7 ties and 12 lead changes in it. So, I mean, man, what a rock and roll game that was, a roller coaster, huh?
Yeah, it sure was. You know, it was, you know, but it was, you know, two great teams going at it all night. You know, it kind of had that heavyweight type of feel, because it was just blow after blow. I mean, it was one of the most physical games we've ever been a part of. You know, there was no way we could do much in terms of practice on Thursday, because it was, you know, we were beat up, but again, you know, we were just happy to be alive, and you know, we'd love to see another day.
Well, now your team gets to travel to the SIU Arena on Tuesday night, where you'll take on an Alton Marquette team. I'm sure your guests now gathering information and stuff about them, but talk a little bit about what you know about that matchup.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times you get in this super sectional stage of the game, and you know, you're playing someone you're really not very familiar with, and you're you know, you're trying to track down film. But you know, thankfully for us, we actually played them down to Go shootout. You know, it was, about a month ago. So you know, we're fairly familiar. You know, we'll get to work today on you know, on getting some more films and breaking some of their more recent games down. But you know, thankfully from a prep standpoint, you know, we do have kind of a head start in terms of, you know, we have played them already once this season.
Yeah, what was the outcome of that game?
It was very low scoring. I think I want to say we won in overtime by 1, something in the 39-38 range, something like that. So it went right down to the wire, and you know, a very low scoring game with not very many possessions in it.
Well, that'll be something your Mount Carmel Aces will want to do on Tuesday night. Then you'll want to speed that game up, because your team likes to play at a little faster pace.
Yeah, you know, we think so. You know, we got some good athletes that run the floor well, and you know, a lot of it is just on the defensive end. If we can get stops and get the ball outletted and get the thing up the floor, you know, that's kind of one thing we preach a lot to our guys is securing that rebound and getting it up the sideline and going.
Well, you know, should be a great night of basketball down there. The Mount Carmel Aces, your team's on a nice roll here, and I'm sure you're looking forward to that experience on Tuesday night.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, I've been just so impressed with our kids. You know, the mental makeup they have. You know, they never seem to get too high or low. You know, they don't seem like a group that gets real nervous. So they're just enjoying the ride. You know, they're on a mission. You know, you can just tell. You know, from the time the postseason started, these guys have been focused and they've been on a mission. And you know, we're excited to go down to Carbondale and try to play to get to the Final Four.
Do you have any ticket information for your fans there in Mount Carmel?
Yes, we're currently getting our players and their families tickets ordered. Figuring out how many they need, and then tickets will be on sale in our high school at 9 a.m. Monday morning.
Okay.
That's great. Hey, I want to back up and ask another question about that T-Town game earlier, Coach. All your big guys, of course, they get the press many times, and of course, one of them had a double-double in that game, 28 points and 15 rebounds. But how about your point guard, Braden Stipp? I mean, he stepped up in that game and had, I think, 19 points against T-Town. That was huge, wasn't it?
He's played so well all postseason. Braden Stipp's his name, our junior point guard, and I can't really say enough good things about him. Like you said, our big guys get a lot of attention, rightfully so. But we're not anywhere near where we're at without the way Braden Stipp's played this year. He's our most consistent defender. He's always in the right spots. He's a kid that can get to the basket, can knock down open shots, and probably the biggest compliment I can give him is he just doesn't make mistakes. For as much as he's got the ball in his hands, he doesn't turn it over. He's just been rock solid for us, and really for the better part of 2 years now, he's kind of been running the show from that point guard spot.
Mm-hmm. That is so important to have a guy like that that's just basically your general on the floor, isn't it, Tyler?
Oh, absolutely. You got to have it. Any good team at any level, you look, how's their point guard, and usually the ones with good point guards will, those are the guys that have a chance to make a run.
That win last night, does that bring you to 27-4? Is that right?
That's correct.
27-4. What is the school record there at Mount Carmel for basketball wins?
I want to say, you're putting me on the spot here. I want to say we got to 31. Back when they won the state in the 20s. I think they were like 31-1 in the 19, 20, 27, 28 range, somewhere around there. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that.
Well, suffice to say, there hasn't been very many 27-win seasons, though, at Mount Carmel. That's my point, I guess, right?
That would be correct.
Yeah, because, most people, quite frankly, look at Mount Carmel as a football school, a football town. But you're kind of changing that opinion of people right now with what you've done with the basketball team, and it's been a lot of success, and you got a chance to keep it going.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're definitely, as a former football player, very proud of our football tradition. And like you said, we're just trying to build something similar on the basketball side. And the biggest thing is we've been blessed with a tremendous amount of athletes and athletes that play both sports and excel. And I'm just like I said, very lucky for some of the guys I've been able to coach here in these 6 years.
Mm-hmm. You don't think there'll be any people from Mount Carmel make the trip to Carbondale on Tuesday night, do you?
I have a feeling they'll find a way to get down there, and I've already had several people text me they're taking half days off of work on Tuesday so they can really make sure to get down there and enjoy the experience. So, it should be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, does Tyra have a game on Tuesday at Indiana?
No, and they're unfortunately they got knocked out of the Big Ten tournament yesterday.
Oh.
Now they're playing the waiting game. They're firmly playing it on that NCAA tournament bubble, so they got to wait all the way till next Monday to figure that out. So
wow.
Hopefully something will work out where she'll be off that day and she can zip over there.
Yeah,
but,
well, hopefully so. Yeah, hopefully she can cheer brother on. That'd be great. All right. Well, Tyler, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Again, congratulations on what's been a tremendous week for you. The win over T-Town earlier and then the win over Robinson last night to win a sectional championship, and into the Elite Eight you go on Tuesday night at the SIU Arena. And we'll look forward to seeing your Aces play down there against Alton Marquette, and we wish you luck, okay?
All right. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks very much.
All right. Take care now. Bye-bye. That is Tyler Buss, head coach of the Mount Carmel Aces, 27-4. Yeah, I don't think there's been too many 27-win seasons at Mount Carmel.
No. Only on the girls' side.
Yeah, exactly. Only on the girls' side. Good point there, Danny. Good point. But, that's been a special season, and I didn't realize I'd forgotten that they'd played Alton Marquette down at that shootout at Pinckneyville, and they won that by 1 point in overtime. What did he say, 39-38 or something like that?
Yeah, and Marquette's 30-3 on the season.
Yeah, so one of those 3 losses was to Mount Carmel.
I didn't realize they'd played.
It sounds like that Alton Marquette likes to play a real deliberate style of offense. So 2 contrasting styles.
I think both teams got a big guy or 2 on them. I know Mount Carmel's got their 2 bigs, and it should be a great night of basketball down there.
And then you get on that big floor too. Things can change a little bit there too. The dynamics change, and then as Coach Brian Gamber of Woodlawn said earlier in the show, from a shooter's perspective, that backdrop there, because
well, you got all
that
those
space
people.
between space behind the backboard as well as people, and so sometimes that can mess with people a little bit.
It changes your depth perception.
It does. It can, for sure.
Once again, we want to talk about one of your sponsors here
Absolutely.
on the show, Wibbles Repair. They're in McLeansboro. They've opened a new parts store, McLeansboro Auto and Ag, along with Wibbles Repair and Sales. They're going to have their grand opening here this morning. They started that at 8 o'clock. It's going to run from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. this afternoon. They want folks to come in and register for a lot of great door prizes. They're going to give away a Kohler generator here this morning. And also, they're having lunch, Deep South Barbecue, from 11 to 2. So make sure you stop in there at Wibbles Repair and Auto and Ag Parts. They're in McLeansboro at their new location along Highway 142 next to the American Legion there in McLeansboro.
What a great location they have there, too. Right there, a high-traffic location. And they're probably listening right now. We hope that they are, and hope that they're enjoying the show this morning as well here on the Sports Couch. So get out there and see them today during their grand opening. It's going to be a beautiful day to get out and about.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice day. They got their lawnmowers on display, and I'm sure people are starting to think about mowing grass and stuff, and I'm sure he's got some great deals going on lawnmowers there today. So make sure you stop in there at Wibbles Repair, and I guarantee you the barbecue sandwich will be great.
Okay. When we come back, we're going to talk to somebody else from Hamilton County, as a matter of fact, and that's going to be baseball coach Keith Welch. He's going to join us next to talk Foxes baseball. That's coming up next on the Sports Couch, so stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
.5 and 90.9 The Vine thanks Wibbles Repair and Sales in McLeansboro for their monthly underwriting support of local Christian radio. They repair small engines and ag equipment, and they sell small engine parts, including oil filters and belts. They have agriculture aftermarket parts, interstate batteries, big truck parts, and truck lighting. As Steel and Husqvarna dealers, they offer a wide variety of chainsaws, trimmers, and cut-off saws. Wibbles Repair and Sales in McLeansboro. Their phone number, 618-648-2227. Open Monday through Friday, Saturdays till noon.
Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon, where the adventure begins.
Most of us tend to take our printed materials for granted, but it's hard to imagine life today without print. Printing is communicating. Whether it's promotional, operational, or administrative, we're here to meet your printing needs. Peacock Print and Marketing has been serving the people in Southern Illinois since 1977. We're located at 1112 Jordan Street in Mount Vernon. Our phone number is 242-3157. Our website is peacockprinting.com. We believe in honoring God by serving our clients through print and marketing and helping them reach their full potential.
Yeah, welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment, trying to make connections right now with Coach Keith Welch, baseball coach of the Hamilton County Foxes, and couldn't reach him there, Danny. Hopefully he'll call us back here in just a moment. Might want to send him a text message there, too. I left him a voicemail a moment ago, and perhaps he was on the other line or might have had his ringer turned off. I don't know. We'll see. But we did have it set up for him at about 9:45, so we'll try to connect with him here in just a moment. It is that time of year. We talked to one baseball coach already this morning. That was Coach Tim Holloway of Mount Vernon. They're getting ready to start their season. They're doing some workouts and practice again today, which is going to be a nice day to do that. And we'll see what's going on with the Foxes baseball program with Keith Welch here in just a moment as well. And speaking of baseball, of course, spring training games have been going on down at Jupiter, Florida, as the Cardinals have been in action. And, again, introducing a few new faces. Dexter Fowler, the former Cub, looks like he's going to be the leadoff guy for the Cardinals, and he's having a good spring so far. But there's also some young guys down there that are getting some playing time and some notice, and so it'll be interesting to see what the mix is for the Cardinals. So I'm going to head down to spring training myself a week after next and be able to see some of it up close too and be able to report back to you maybe on what's happening down there and maybe some new names that we'll discover in the Cardinals.
It's going to be an interesting season. The Cardinals got some work to do chasing the Chicago Cubs, so it'll be interesting to see if the Cardinals are up to that challenge and some guys are healthy and can rise to that occasion. I think Keith Welch is hooked up with us here this morning now.
Keith has joined us on the phone. Good morning, Keith. How are you?
How's it going, guys?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch. It's time for spring baseball. How's it going with the Fox's baseball program so far this year?
Going good. Right now we're mudding up the field pretty good, trying to get it ready to practice today. So I was on the floor and hear my phone ringing.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to work the field a little this morning.
Yeah, it's not working too good, though.
No, the rain we had over the week there, we're just fortunate you got a baseball field left standing, though.
Yeah, that's true. We kind of jumped the gun. We all got excited this morning. It was nice. It's not here. It's not ready yet. So.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about your upcoming season. What's your expectations for your Foxes and some of your key returning players coming back?
We've got a slew of kids coming back. We've got 5 seniors coming back that really played a lot last year and were a core part of our team. Austin Potter is a pitcher outfielder for us. Does a great job. Oakley Dial, 3 or 4 year starter at shortstop. Remington Carroll, another senior, will play some second base outfield and probably be our number 2 pitcher. Ryan Brockett at first base. He's a huge kid, had a great year last year, batted over 400 for us. And Noah Rapp is another senior that he plays center field for us and does a lot of nice things for us. As far as other returning, we got some juniors. Logan Hunt got a lot of time last year on the mound as well in the outfield. And got some sophomores present for some time, and maybe even a few freshmen that might see some varsity action if they step up a little bit.
Have you got some pretty good depth at all your positions, Keith?
Yeah, I think we do, and that's a big thing this year. We've got a lot of kids that can play a lot of different positions, and with the new pitch count rule and how many pitches we're going to have to be running in and out of there, I think that's a good problem to have when you got a lot of kids that can play different positions.
Talk a little bit about that rule change. I'm sure a lot of people don't understand that, or a lot of people probably haven't heard about that. Give them a little insight on that.
Honestly, I don't have it right in front of me, but and it's not something that I don't see a problem with it. They've got a pitch count rule and how many days of rest you can have in between a certain amount of pitches that you throw, and kids can never throw over 120 pitches. That's my understanding of it. I haven't looked real deep into it, but
yeah,
it's something that you're going to have to look into. And you've got a week where you got 5-6 games. I mean, you're going to have to plan that out pretty good and make sure you don't run out of arms real early.
Talk a little bit about some of your upcoming early season games there.
We open up with Crab Orchard like we did last year. Don't know a whole lot about them. After that, we go to Pinckneyville. Pinckneyville's year in, year out very competitive, and we'll probably get our eyes open there and see where we're at against them, I'd say.
Are you going to have the teams from the north coming in over spring break like normal?
I haven't talked to some. We were playing a team out of Ohio over at Benton in March, I know of, and those guys usually contact us sometimes last minute, and they just come over and play, so I'm sure there's a couple of them that will be heading this way.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time here this morning. We look forward to talking to you some more throughout the baseball season after things kind of get up and get rolling here. We're just kind of in the midstream here going from basketball to baseball, and we thought we'd pick your brain a little bit here and see what your Foxes were looking like and check your excitement level for the upcoming season.
Yeah, we're excited. We're just standing in the mud right now trying to figure out what we're going to do.
All right. Well, Keith, we appreciate your time. We'll talk with you some more once the season gets rolling here.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Have a good weekend. All righty. Bye-bye. Keith Welch, baseball coach at Hamilton County, trying to work that field today, Danny.
Yeah, those guys always get excited. It rained about 2.5 inches in McLeansboro this week out of the storms that came through. So
wow, you got that much, huh?
Yeah, very wet in Hamilton County right now. We went from being dry to kind of wet here all at once. So, spring baseball, that's always a challenge, the weather.
Yeah, it definitely is. College basketball today. There's going to be some interesting matchups. Number 2, Villanova plays at Georgetown today. Indiana is at Ohio State. Illinois travels to Rutgers. Number 9, Kentucky's at Texas A&M. And let's see, number 12, Florida is at Vanderbilt. And Notre Dame is at Louisville. That's 2 ranked teams. Notre Dame's 19th, Louisville is 8th. Michigan State's on the road at Maryland in the Big Ten. California plays at Colorado. And Butler, now this is a team that's kind of flying under the radar screen. You know they're ranked 13th in the country now?
Yes.
Yeah. Butler's at home today against Seton Hall.
That Big East is thinking they're going to get 7 teams in that NCAA field.
Mm-hmm. And the SIU Salukis will be playing again today against Illinois State over at St. Louis.
That's a team they took to the limit last weekend down at SIU.
Yeah.
If things click good for the Salukis, they could get them. If it don't click real good, Illinois State will beat them by 15.
Yeah, you just never know. The Salukis did beat Loyola by 5 points to put them in this matchup against Illinois State. That's a 2:30 game this afternoon. Salukis come in at 17-15 overall in the season. Illinois State having a great year at 26-5. But, hey, you know what? You just never know. That's why you play the game.
College basketball's kind of been like high school basketball this year. There's been a lot of parity. There's been a lot of games that teams have won that maybe people didn't think they'd win. And what about the Illini? Are they on the bubble here now? Or?
Well, that was a big win for them over Michigan State the other night, for sure. That helped them. They're 18-12 coming into today's action. And they probably, they need to get a win on the road today at Rutgers if they can. But then they need to probably win a game in that Big Ten tournament, I would think, to have a chance.
it's going to be interesting. Selection Sunday's not far off. It'd be interesting to see how things shake out. A lot of good quality teams in NCAA basketball right now.
Another team that's kind of flying under the radar screen, I think, is the Minnesota Gophers. They're second place in the Big Ten, behind Purdue. Minnesota's having a good year. They're 23-7 overall, and there hasn't been much people talking about them. But
no, you don't hear much about them.
But they got a quality basketball team, and so and Northwestern's had a great year. They're 21-9.
They've struggled a little bit here at late, but looks like they may have got the ship righted. There was some talk the way they were playing here the last couple of weeks that they were above the bubble, but they were working their way toward the bubble, but they've kind of regrouped, and they think they're going to be all right now.
Yeah. That Purdue team, they're tough. They're 24-6. And they're 13-4 in the Big Ten. They lead the Big Ten, like I say, by a couple of games over both Minnesota and Maryland. And Wisconsin has lost a couple of games here just as of late. They were upset by Iowa yesterday. So Wisconsin has dropped now down to 4th place in the Big Ten, and they're 22-8, and they've now lost 6 in the Big Ten.
Is this run by the Illinois going to save John Gross's job?
Well, we'll have to see. I think he's definitely been in some turmoil and some trouble up there. They have a losing record in the Big Ten. They're 8-9 in the Big Ten. So, like I said, if they can win on the road at Rutgers today, that gets them back to 500 in the Big Ten. But you really don't usually have a chance to get into the big tournament, the big dance, unless you get 20 wins. And they're 18-12 right now, so they need a couple more wins. And I think they're going to have to get a win or two in the Big Ten tournament to have a chance of getting a berth.
So. I hear the name Conzo Martin.
Do you? Well, come back from California and come out to Illinois?
Possibly Illinois or Missouri.
Yeah. Well, Missouri's got a lot of turmoil, that's for sure. Man, they're bad. Missouri's bad. They're going to have to make some changes there, too. So, yeah, that's a possibility if Conzo wants to get back out here to the Midwest. Which is where he knows everybody at as far as recruiting is concerned.
Yeah.
You know.
What I was reading about this was, he's went out there to California and he's been successful out there, kind of turned things around, but he's still a Midwest boy with a lot of Midwest ties.
Right.
And this article I read thought he'd be a great fit at either location, and they kind of thought both coaches were on the jeopardy list, but I don't know. Gross has kind of got things going again here a little bit, and some of the past problems, but he's not been able to recruit the big names that he needs at Illinois.
No, and if you can't recruit the guys out of Chicago and the good names out of Illinois in your own state, I mean, that's a problem. I mean, you see a lot of these guys, going to the other Big Ten schools, or they go elsewhere, like a Kentucky or a Louisville as well. So, it's been a problem.
Going to be a challenge.
Yeah. Danny, we're about out of time. Basketball Tuesday night, going to be some great games in the area.
Yep, we're going to head down to the SIU Arena to take in those two games on Tuesday night. Should be a great night of basketball. Look forward to making that trip.
And that's nice that they do play both the 1A and the 2A Super Sectional on the same night in the same venue. So you can see two games for the price of one.
Yep.
So that's going to be exciting with this. The Woodlawn Cardinals will be down there taking on St. Anthony, and then it'll be Mount Carmel taking on Alton Marquette. So two real good basketball games on Tuesday night. All right, that's going to wrap up the Sports Couch. Appreciate everyone joining us this morning, and thanks so much to our guests for being a part of it, and thanks for listening in and watching this morning. The Sports Couch comes your way each and every Saturday morning during the high school sports season from 8:30 till 10 here on 90.9 The Vine and on AreaSports.net. Enjoy this weather. Have a great weekend, everyone. So long. This is your station for the Casting Crowns concert on Good Friday, April 14th at the SIU Arena in Carbondale. This is WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, McLeansboro, and Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian news.